Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel, where we dive deep into South African politics with no filters and no spin. Today, we've got an explosive story that lays bare one of the ANC's biggest political regrets, a candid confession from none other than Deputy Secretary General Nomvula Mokonyane. And it centers on a name that refuses to fade from the headlines, Jacob Zuma. In a political dialogue held in Johannesburg, Mokonyane delivered what can only be described as a rare moment of honesty from a senior ANC leader. She admitted that the ANC's failure to deal decisively with Zuma, during his presidency and in the years following his resignation, turned out to be a catastrophic miscalculation. A miscalculation that played a major role in the ANC's historic fall from grace in the 2024 general elections. Yes, you heard that right. The ruling party's second-in-command openly acknowledged that they underestimated Zuma's capacity for political disruption, and paid the price for it at the ballot box. Now let's break this down, because this is more than just one comment, it's an insight into the internal rot, factional paralysis, and strategic indecision that have plagued the ANC for over a decade. Nomvula Mokonyane's admission came just weeks after the ANC recorded its worst electoral performance since 1994. For the first time in South Africa's democratic history, the ANC failed to secure a parliamentary majority. This forced them into coalition negotiations, a historic humiliation for a party that once dominated the political landscape unchallenged. And many are pointing fingers directly at Zuma's Umkhonto weSizwe, or MK party, as a key reason behind this electoral downfall, especially in KwaZulu-Natal, where the ANC lost significant ground. The MK party, formed by Zuma in defiance of the ANC, rode a wave of populist rhetoric, anti-establishment energy, and ethnic nationalism that seriously fractured the traditional ANC support base in KZN. Mokonyane's remarks are telling. She admitted that the ANC underestimated Zuma's capacity to defy party structures and carve out a new political identity for himself, one rooted in grievance, martyrdom, and Zulu nationalist sentiment. They thought he would fade away after being ousted. They were wrong. Zuma didn't just fade into the background, he built a new political weapon and fired it directly at the heart of the ANC. And the damage was real. Let's take a moment to reflect on that. Zuma was implicated in the Zondo Commission, he was arrested for contempt of court, and he stood accused of overseeing the state capture project that hollowed out state institutions. Yet the ANC failed to confront him decisively. Instead, they played it safe. They delayed. They dodged accountability. And in doing so, they created the perfect conditions for Zuma to rebrand himself as the victim of elite betrayal, and mobilize his base against the very party he once led. This wasn't just a strategic error, it was a failure of political courage. Now, let's go deeper. Why did the ANC hold back? Why was Zuma not expelled from the party when he defied court rulings, rallied against the Zondo Commission, or endorsed a rival party? Well, the answer lies in internal factionalism. For years, the ANC has been paralyzed by a war between the so-called reformists aligned with President Cyril Ramaphosa and the RET forces, the radical economic transformation bloc associated with Zuma and his allies. Taking decisive action against Zuma would have meant sparking open war with his supporters inside the party. So instead, the ANC opted for a fragile peace, hoping Zuma would either fall in line or fade away. But that gamble failed. Spectacularly. By the time Zuma officially broke ranks and launched the MK party, it was too late. He had already been laying the groundwork, attacking the ANC leadership, undermining Ramaphosa's legitimacy, and stirring populist sentiment against what he called a white monopoly capital agenda. And in KwaZulu-Natal, a key electoral battleground, Zuma's message resonated deeply. The province has long had its own internal political dynamics, and Zuma tapped into feelings of marginalization and ethnic identity politics to devastating effect. The ANC's once dominant support in the region crumbled, and so did its national majority. But the implications go beyond Zuma himself. Mokonyane's admission is a signal that the ANC is finally confronting its past mistakes, or at least being forced to acknowledge them publicly. And this brings us to a crucial question: can the ANC recover? The 2024 elections were a seismic moment. For the first time, the ANC must now govern in coalition. Its credibility is badly bruised, its base is fractured, and its internal leadership is under pressure. Ramaphosa's presidency, once billed as a reformist break from Zuma-era corruption, is now haunted by indecision and declining public trust. And make no mistake, the MK party is not going away. Whether or not it becomes a long-term political force remains to be seen, but its impact on the ANC's legitimacy is undeniable. Political analysts are saying that the ANC's future will depend on two things. First, whether it can rebuild internal unity by decisively confronting factionalism. And second, whether it can win back the trust of voters by delivering actual governance results, not just rhetoric. But as long as former leaders like Jacob Zuma continue to command loyalty outside party lines, the ANC's authority will remain challenged. And Mokonyane's remarks suggest that even within the top ranks of the ANC, there is recognition that they waited too long and did too little to stop the bleeding. This isn't just a crisis of leadership. It's a crisis of identity. The ANC is now at a crossroads. Will it evolve into a modern, accountable political party capable of surviving in a coalition era? Or will it continue to be haunted by the ghosts of its unresolved past? Only time will tell. Thanks for watching, and as always, we want to hear your thoughts. Is Mokonyane's admission too little, too late? Has the ANC finally realized the cost of its inaction? And can it survive the Zuma rebellion? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it insightful. See you next time.